Alright, so I finished a league the other day, and unfortunately I did not record it, but there are some people have asked to see what the games looks like, so I will just record it from the MTGO recordings, so to speak. So I'll just replay them and push the play button and do some small commentary as we go along, but not play by play. So this is the first game of the league. We're playing an Esper Transcendent list based around Liliana, Gideons and Narsets with some hand disruption and removal sweepers. Yeah, fun list all in all, which I think can be competitive. Yeah, you can check out my other recordings if you want to have some more in-depth talk about it. Yeah, alright, so let's get to it. So first game, game 1. Hold on, was this the right one? Let's see. Yeah, this is the 5-0. So the first one is not against Burn. The first one is against something else. So let's see. So you see a sample hand of what's great about this deck. Oh yeah, this is against Counters Company, I think. So we have a nice start with Planeswalkers. Bit worried about the mana situation, of course, but at least we'll be able to land a Liliana on turn 3. But here we find a Devoted Druid that we'll have to deal with. But for some reason I don't. I'm not sure why. Maybe I don't want to give him the extra land, which seems odd since he already had 2 mana dorks. So he's kinda got going with plenty of mana and a Duskwatch Recruiter, and I have mana up for a Path. So here we have to kill the Devoted Druid in response to him playing the Vizier. Otherwise he can just get his old deck. So this is a tricky spot. I mean, he's close to finding all the pieces he needs, but I'm still alive. And next turn we get to land a Narset, hoping to find a and here we did a mistake actually, because I'm not sure what happened there. I think I intended to play the Narset and thought I had the blue mana, so I can't remember really, and I don't know why I didn't play the... Oh yeah, because we found the Sweeper, of course. So I elected not to play the Tasigur. Alright, so now we're in an excellent position. And we were lucky that he didn't find any of his stickier stick your threats like the Finks. We get to play both Narset and Tasigur, which is awesome. And from this position he's just screwed. But that's a cute interaction. Kitchen Finks, unkillable. So now he has unlimited mana. We managed to find a fatal push with the Narset, and from this point he's just screwed because we ultimate the Liliana. And then next turn we get to ultimate the Narset, I think. We were greedy, can't remember. Yeah, I think we were greedy. Well, with a path back up, I guess it's not really an issue. So we got a timely Supreme Verdict that reset the board, and then our Planeswalkers managed to outvalue his. So here comes the emblem. Now we don't have to worry about basically anything. And he gives up. So that was a pretty cool game. We did make some misplays. We were lucky that his stickier threats like Kitchen Finks or that green-white Voice of Resurgence, that didn't have them on board. That would have been problematic. And then we have the second game, and he used quite a lot of time on the first game. Well, he didn't really, but the second game actually went to time, and well, not exactly time. I think he gave up when he realized he wouldn't have time for a third match. And maybe I was a bastard for not conceding, but I figured you should be able to finish your matches. Otherwise you're not playing fast enough. So we have Counter Squall up for any shenanigans. But this game, he wore us down basically. So we bought time. The Gideons are excellent at that. And we were, all we could hope for was a Supreme Verdict. And we got to jump. Alright, the Baneslayer, cool. Yeah, that slowed him down, I suppose. We even got to start pressuring him He's down to 12 minutes when he starts. He basically found the pieces that he needs because he has almost unlimited mana already. He managed to get him quite low, but cannot finish him off. But the Planeswalkers are doing an excellent job at slowing it all down. But now he has the Vizier and a cord for the Druid, which I can do nothing about. So here basically I realized that the jig is up. I do have a Vendilion Click to make it more difficult for when he finds his piece. And maybe the good guy move would have been to concede here. I'm not sure. I mean, I wouldn't do it. I mean, obviously it's different paper magic since you can shortcut it. But I wouldn't give up any edges playing a competitive game. So I'm not sure that I should here either. And well, I mean, if you play a deck like this, you'll have to get proficient at clicking. And believe me, I've played a lot of Thopter Sword combo with Tesseret, which involves a lot of clicking. And people often did not do me any favors by giving up. So anyway, he uses most of his time, and he's not salty about it or anything, but he just realizes that will not be able to finish. Skip forward here. As you see, he uses quite a lot of time to do this. So now he has 3 minutes left and no time to finish the game. So we started off with a 2-0 against a deck that I think is a rather difficult matchup. It's not our worst matchup by any stretch, but since they have a lot of sticky threats, they can overpower us on the ground. And also they have a whoops, I win clause in their deck as well. Alright, so that was the first game. Second game was against Amya Kamal playing Burn. And the first game went as one could expect. I was keeping a land heavy hand, but with the Serum Visions I figured that would be fine. Then you realize you're playing Burn, and then you regret all the choices you've ever made. So he has us down to 8 life turn 2, which basically is lights out. I can put up some chump blockers, but this is a rough spot to say the least. I don't dare to kill one of his guys, since that would mean put me to 3 life. He has a Rift Bolt suspended, and then he just finishes us off with another Helix. So that was the first game. Typical burn game. He takes us by surprise, and yeah. Second game is really the coolest one because it's a weird one where he has a decent start, but we'll see how it plays out. So I keep a 1-lander on the play because I have 3 removal spells, and I figured that will buy me some time. And I have a Serum Visions to help me find the lands, which I do. I do find a Hallowed Fountain. So basically now I'm just hoping to draw lands. And he has quite of an aggressive start with 2 haste creatures and some burn spells. We managed to pick one off. Hope to draw land, which I don't think we do. So we're at 11. A bit of a clunky hand. And here's the super sideboard tech of burn these days, the Shrine of Burning Rage, which is quite good against us. But at least we can deal with his creatures. And here we go, finding the land. Playing the Liliana, since it's our only play except the path. And we, for some reason, get rid of the Gideon of the Trials, since we don't have the second white. And I just have a feeling that Narset will be sweet. And you'll see how I prioritize keeping Narset. So we're at a virtual 6 life, 5 life, but he seems to be drawing poorly. And now we are at a position where we can ultimate, which we do, and then he has to sacrifice his shrine. So we managed to keep the damage from the shrine at 4 damage. And we find a Sorin, which I at that moment think, great, now we have some life gain, but it's a bit slow since we don't have any creatures yet. But we land the Sorin, play a creature. He gets rid of the Sorin, which I think must have been a mistake. And then we get to ultimate the Narset, play the Tasigur, and game over. So this was a pretty sweet one. I mean, he drew quite poorly the last few turns. But the Narset was, I think it might have been a mistake to keep going for the Narset, but in the end it actually paid off. And then in the third game, it was a race. Since I drew the Baneslayer in my starting hand, I knew that was my end game. Getting to the Baneslayer. So I just try and keep damage as low as possible. I think he got stuck on 1 land for a while. No, that's not this game. Path the Grim Lavamancer, since that could have been a lot of damage over a few turns. So we get to land the Liliana, and at this point I don't want to lose the land since they mean Baneslayers. I actually get rid of the Serum Visions to be sure to be able to play the Baneslayer on turn 5. And he has us down to 7, but no cards in hand. So now I just need him to not top deck a 4 and a 3, well, 2 heavy or 3 small burn spells. So we can deal with the and here, does he top deck a burn spell? No, he does not. So we get to gain life with the Baneslayer, and it's all over. So Baneslayer action, but again we got lucky. But the matches against burn is a lot like this. Does he top deck enough burn spells to finish us off or not? So this time we got lucky. So third game against Shadowhunter. So let's see, was this the Affinity one? Can't remember. Yeah. Oh no, it's not Affinity, it's some sort of white Oketra's Monument deck. And in the first game he got stuck for the longest time, and I barely scraped a win from this. So I rode my Lingering Souls to victory. But I mean, he got stuck on 1 land, so that didn't really count. Second game was weird as well, as I recall it. Didn't really get to see him go off. Kept another 1-lander on the draw with the Serum Visions. Didn't find any lands on my scry, but luckily drew one anyway. So he has me under pressure, so we get some souls to stop his pests. He decides to go for it anyway, so we kill the pests. So we start clawing control over the game. We get rid of that and we disenchant the monument. He plays another monument, as I recall it, yeah. But now I feel like I'm in control of the game. We get to land Gideon to put even more pressure, and as I think this is over, he starts comboing off with a white main lion, and before I realize what is actually happening, he gets to get a few tokens. I could have won right here if I would have killed it straight away. It would have been over. I've never seen this combo before, so I gave him another warrior token unnecessarily. But he's too far behind to do much about anything. So we're 3-0 after defeating White Jank or White Monument. Don't know or don't think this is a competitive deck, but anyway, we take every victory. All right, fourth game was against what? Was it against Sue? I think so. Yeah. So I figured it was burn again, but it was not. So he just goes off. So turn 2, he has 6 power on board. We have a disruptive hand, but not a very fast one. He has double Atarka's command, and at this point I realize that I'm just super dead. So I concede. There's no way I'm coming back from that. Alright, so after sideboarding we have a bit of a better game plan. We have brought in some Baneslayers and what else did I bring in? Collective Brutalities probably. And our hand is better prepared. So he Pithing Needles the Lilianas, which I have 2 of in hand. So I'm kind of bummed out. But on the other hand, him playing Pithing Needles after sideboard is probably just good for us. So here we see attack for 9, turn 3, bringing us down to 13 since we managed to kill. No, I guess we just path the Nakatl. And next turn we have a Snapcaster for the second kill spell. And here I drew something relevant. Yeah, the Brutality. And we take a bit more damage. That decision I remember was questionable. But I figured he didn't have that much burn. So here we could have just ambush vipered his Goblin Guide with a Snapcaster. We did not, however. And instead we wait 1 turn, and now we push and kill his guide. So now we are putting some pressure on him since we can keep up the path. We're down to 1 life. but we got 2 more back from the collective brutality, so here we are having my 2. We have a path and a counter scroll, so I intend to let him attack and just path him in case something happens. Otherwise I have a counter scroll for his lightning bolts or whatever. So we managed to win a tight game against Sue. And then in the 3rd game, can't remember, but I think he stumbled somewhat. Oh yeah, and here in blind names polluted Delta instead of flooded Strand, which was lucky. We get to push his guide. Oh yeah, he got stuck on lands. Awesome. So we get to land the Gideon to put him under pressure. And from this point, he's just too far behind. Next turn we can land the Sorin and lifelink and game over. Alright, that felt good. This is the best showing of the Sorin in the whole league. And it wasn't really a deciding factor, but it felt good. And then in the final game we played against the Hollow One deck, Dredgewine, whatever. And again, as I recall, they had some mana issues. Yeah, we got his Fateless looting out, and we hampered him for quite a bit. So he found a Tassiger of his own. We find a path, so we know that next turn we can deal with the Tassiger. And he's stuck on 2 lands. And the good thing about playing against these decks is that they're helping us out by damaging themselves quite a lot. So now we get to finish him off with Lingering Souls. Oh yeah, oh, that's a nice interaction. So here we go. We get to finish him off. So he got himself so low that one swing with the spirits and the tar pit was enough. Second game was more interesting. And he had me under a lot of pressure, but Tassiger saves the bacon. And surgical extraction is playing an interesting part in this game. So we get to snag his Fateless lootings, as I recall it. and he has 2 in hand, which is excellent. So he actually had quite a nice hand, but we got to do work against it. And here's the Loleth Troll, which I think this exact Loleth Troll actually lives through the whole game. But we managed to chump it and try and deal with it. So he takes my Baneslayer, thinking that my Tashiger is less of an issue. And I think that was probably a mistake on his part. So here the Tashiger manages to blank his attacks for quite a while, so we are at a board stall. And here I attack, didn't realize they had regeneration, so now he takes a chump out of my health, place the hollow one. And I start trying to get value out of Tashiger, and he keeps giving me the surgical extractions, and I keep using them. They're not the best draw, but we can start taking out things that actually do something in his deck. But now I think I don't see any really juicy targets, and I want to draw different things with the Tashiger. And now the troll is actually big enough to do something relevant. And he has another creature in hand, so he gets to kill my Tashiger. So now I'm in trouble, but I have my verdict, so I will kill the hollow one, and then for the rest of the game I will blank the troll with my Gideon. I actually have the option of killing it, but I don't see any point in doing it. And I get to use my surgical to kill his Venged Vines that threaten to come back for more. So now once again the Lingering Souls are the finishers that help us finish the game. It doesn't really matter. Keep back a Spirit and a Shambling Vent so that he can't attack. Now the game is over. Well, it was probably over for quite a bit, but so we managed to finish 5-0 in a friendly league, which is a nice little feat. I felt that we got quite lucky in a lot of matchups. It might have not been the best opponent by not conceding to his combo, and did do a lot of misplays, and the deck is tricky to play because there's so many small decisions on sequencing lands and what's the best course of action in every situation, and this deck wants to be a lot more aggressive than I'm used to with control decks, or control-ish decks. Guess this is not as pure control deck. It's a mix. So I have a lot to learn still, and I have made some changes, but you'll see them later on as I post more leagues on the on my channel. Anyways, I've probably been rambling, talking incoherently and all that, but I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want more stuff like this, just let me know. Alright, see you guys later.